You know, there's nothing quite like the love between a parent and child. After all those years of raising them, sleepless nights, scraped knees, school plays, and everything in between, you'd think respect would come naturally. But sometimes, as the years go by, things change. Maybe you've noticed your grown children brushing off your advice, speaking to you with impatience, or even making decisions without considering your feelings. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't feel respected anymore, well, my friend, you're not alone. This isn't about guilt or blame. It's about understanding why respect sometimes fades, and what we can do to rebuild it. Because here's the truth, respect isn't just given, it's nurtured. And no matter how old your children are, it's never too late to strengthen that bond. Today, we're going to talk about 6 powerful ways to regain that mutual respect, not by demanding it, but by fostering it. And we'll start with the first 2 strategies, because small steps lead to big changes. 1. Reflect before reacting. When your son dismisses your opinion or your daughter snaps at you, your first instinct might be to fire back. After all I've done for you! Or maybe you swallow the hurt and say nothing, letting resentment build. But here's what I've learned. The moment we react in anger or pain, we lose the chance to truly connect. Instead, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this about me, or is something else going on? Maybe your child is stressed at work, overwhelmed with their own family, or even struggling with how to relate to you now that roles have shifted. That doesn't excuse disrespect, but it helps us respond with wisdom instead of emotion. Try this. Next time tension rises, pause and say, I can see you're upset. Let's talk when we're both calm. That simple act, choosing patience over reaction, sets a powerful example. 2. Rebuild communication bridges. Remember when your kids were little, and they tell you everything? Then life gets busy, and conversations become rushed or shallow. If respect is fading, it's often because communication has too. The key? Stop waiting for them to come to you. Start small. Send a text. I was just thinking about that time we went fishing when you were 10. You were so proud of catching your first bass. Shared memories remind them of your bond. Or ask open-ended questions. What's been the biggest challenge for you lately? Then listen without jumping in with advice. And here's an important tip, avoid the back in my day lectures. Instead of, you young people don't understand hard work. Try, I admire how you handle your career. It's so different from how things were for me. That shift invites connection, not defensiveness. Now, these first 2 steps are about laying the groundwork, slowing down our reactions and opening doors to better conversations. But there's more to explore, like setting boundaries without guilt and leading by example in ways you might not expect. So let's keep going, because every strong relationship starts with a little patience and a lot of heart. Sometimes when we feel disrespected by our children, it's not because they don't love us. It's because somewhere along the way, the lines got blurred. Maybe we've always been the ones to give in, to stay silent when our feelings were hurt, or to put their needs above our own until they started expecting it. And that's not fair to them, because how can they respect someone who doesn't show them how? That's why the next 2 strategies are all about teaching people how to treat you, not with harshness, but with quiet strength. 3. Set boundaries, without apologizing. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Boundaries? But won't that push them away? Here's the truth, boundaries aren't walls, they're guide rails. They don't push people away, they teach them where the road is safe to travel. Let me give you an example. Suppose your daughter always drops by unannounced, expecting you to babysit the grandkids, even when you're exhausted. You love them dearly, but you're running on empty. Instead of saying, "It's fine. while secretly feeling used. Try this. Sweetheart, I love seeing you and the kids, but I need a little heads up before visits. How about we plan a day each week that works for both of us? Simple. Clear. No guilt. The first time you set a boundary, they might push back, because they're used to the old way. But stand firm with kindness. Respect starts when we respect ourselves enough to say what we need. 4. Lead by example. Yes, even now. Here's something we forget as parents. Our children are still watching us. Even when they're grown with kids of their own, they notice how we handle conflict, how we treat others, and how we carry ourselves. If we want respect, we have to model it, not just toward them, but toward ourselves and the world around us. Speak about yourself with kindness. No more, "Oh, I'm just an old woman, what do I know?" That teaches them to dismiss you. 2. Show respect for their choices, even when you disagree. Say, "I wouldn't do it that way, but I trust you to figure it out." Stand tall in your worth. Volunteer, take a class, share your wisdom. Let them see you as someone who continues to grow. When they witness you living with dignity, they'll mirror it back to you. Now, I know this isn't always easy. Old habits run deep, and change takes time. But every small step you take, whether it's speaking up for yourself or showing them what grace looks like, plants a seed. And in the next part, we'll talk about 2 more powerful ways to nurture those seeds into something lasting, letting go of the past and redefining what respect looks like as roles change. Because this isn't about winning a battle, it's about rebuilding something real. You've raised them. You've loved them. And somewhere along the way, you expected things would settle into an easy rhythm, where respect flowed naturally between you, where your voice still carried weight, where you felt valued not just as mom or dad, but as a person. But life doesn't always work out that way, does it? Maybe you've held on to old arguments, replaying them in your mind. Or maybe you've watched your roles shift from guide to afterthought, and it stings more than you let on. That's why these last 2 strategies aren't just about changing them, they're about freeing yourself to rebuild something stronger. 5. Let go of the past, without erasing it. Holding on to old hurts is like carrying a sack of stones uphill. It weighs you down, not them. Maybe your son forgot your birthday last year. Maybe your daughter rolled her eyes when you gave advice. Those moments stick with us, don't they? But here's the hard truth. You can't rebuild respect while clinging to resentment. That doesn't mean you pretend the hurt never happened. It means you choose to focus on what can be, not just what was. Try this. Write the hurt down, then let it go. Literally. Put it on paper, then tear it up or burn it. It's not about them, it's about your peace. Start fresh today. Next time you talk, don't bring up old wounds. Give them, and yourself, the gift of a new beginning. You'll be surprised how lightness returns when you're no longer dragging the past behind you. 6. Redefine respect for this chapter. Here's something we don't say enough. The respect you deserve now isn't the same as when they were kids. Back then, it was about authority. Now, it's about mutuality. Instead of waiting for them to obey, focus on being heard. Instead of demanding gratitude, cultivate appreciation for who they are and who you still are. Maybe respect now looks like your son asking for your input instead of you insisting on giving it. Your daughter checking in because she wants to, not because she has to. That shift? It's not surrender. It's evolution. If we recap shortly, if you take nothing else from this, remember this: you are worthy of respect, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. This isn't about forcing your children to behave a certain way. It's about inviting them into a relationship where respect grows naturally, from patience, from boundaries, from the quiet strength of knowing your own worth. So start small. Pick one thing to try this week: a conversation, a boundary, a moment of letting go. And be gentle with yourself. These things take time. And to those of you watching, I'd love to hear your stories. Have you faced this with your own children? What's helped you? Share in the comments, because none of us should navigate this alone. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more conversations like this. Remember, growing older doesn't mean fading into the background. It means standing in your wisdom and teaching others how to honor it. Here's to the next chapter of your story. May it be filled with the respect you've earned and the love you deserve.